Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new video. Larry and I are sitting down to answer some of your questions that have to do with age gap relationships. We've been getting a lot on DMs on Instagram and asking how we make things work, so I figured we'd sit down and talk about it.
So if you're a long-time viewer, apologies, because I know there's been some complaints about, oh my God, is that all you ever talk about? Well, we've got a lot of new viewers, and they're interested, and they're asking questions, so we want to do these and get them up to date. Yeah,
I'm going to try and answer questions that I haven't previously answered, but some of them are going to be similar, so get ready for that. And then we have very, very, very exciting news to share with you guys. As we're filming this, it's currently Wednesday, September 22nd. You guys will be seeing this video tomorrow. And tomorrow, September 23rd, is our embryo transfer.
Yay!
We are so excited and we can't believe that it's here. And for a while I debated on sharing the dates because I knew if I gave that date and you guys had it, which it melts my heart, and I'm so excited that you guys are excited. I just knew that I know a lot of you would be excited to know the results of the pregnancy test, and you would be able to count out the days of when I would know. So that made me a little overwhelmed and nervous, and then Larry and I had time to think about it, and I was like, you know what? Let's share in real time. You guys have been the greatest support for us. This is not an easy journey to go through. IVF is so difficult.
It's been a long journey, and there's been frustration for us and frustration for you guys because we're kind of holding back some of the information, and we just decided that with as long of a journey as it is, with everything going on, we're just going to get you on board so we can all be on the same boat together.
Yeah, here was my thought that I told Larry. I was like, we're not like the traditional everybody else where, they're getting pregnant at home and then they conceal and wait 3 months to share the news. Our journey is not, it's different, and it takes a lot of appointments and stabs with needles, and it's a really long journey, and it's just not, so I figured, why not? So we're very excited to share that news with you guys, and I just was laying in bed last night. I know this is not the Q&A part, but this is like an update. I was laying in bed thinking, can you believe, like, we're here. We're finally here. This is the moment that we have waited for. If you go back a few months, Larry had his procedure to get the sperm extraction, which was very uncomfortable for him. And then I had to go through all the stomach shots to prepare for egg retrieval. Then we had the egg retrieval, and then they introduced one of my eggs and Larry's sperm, and they, made an embryo, which turned into a blastocyst, and it's just such a long process, and we're finally here. So much science that we are so thankful and grateful for. And we also want to say thank you to all of you. I know a lot of you are in the same stretch that I am. Some of you guys have had your embryo transfer already. Some of you have your embryo transfer next week. So best of luck to all of you. Don't lose hope. Never give up. Keep going. Yeah, and with that being said, as you guys see this video, my transfer is scheduled for the afternoon. And we started the progesterone injections last Saturday, so today would be day 5 of progesterone injections.
Just remember, when you're giving someone an injection, just let them know that this is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt me.
He has been just such a solid rock, and I don't know where I would be without you, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for giving me my booty shots. He always feels so bad that he's like giving me pain, and I'm like, no, like, you're such a great support system and you're helping me do this. Like, it would be harder to do it myself, and I know there's many women that do need to do it themselves, and I can't imagine, and your strength is incredible. So if you are going through the journey alone, you're amazing, and you're so strong, and you are so incredible. So sending love to you guys as well. But with all that exciting news, you guys have the exact details now. I also feel relieved that we're sharing it. Now we can get started with the Q&A, and like I said, these are going to be age gap-ish related questions to Larry and I, to certain scenarios. So thank you so much for asking. If you guys aren't following over on Instagram, that's where the updates happen, and that's usually where I'm pulling all the questions from. So if you're not following over there, feel free to head over and follow me over there so that you guys can be updated in the moment.
All these places I have to follow you.
Happy first day of fall!
Yay!
as we're filming this. It's first day of fall. The first question is, how do you cope with the fact that your partner might have experienced many firsts before you? I've honestly not really thought about it in that way, thinking that he got to experience something first and, you know, I'm coming second, or he's already done it. I don't really think of it that way. I more so think of it as, you know, I kind of accept it for what it is. I know that Larry's had many firsts that I have yet to have, such as having a child. You know what I mean? That's an example. But I see it as Larry knows what to expect. You know, everything is different, of course, with each human, or every situation or scenario is different. But I see it as he's experienced, he understands. He's like that calm for me, and that kind of like education for me. I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
I think you are.
Yeah, but do you have any like feelings or thoughts that you've experienced everything that I have not yet experienced, or a lot of things, like because you've already had your many of firsts and I have not? Does that bother you in any way?
No, actually, in some cases, like when we travel, I took her to Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been there several times before that, but it was her first experience. And I just love architecture and being outside, and it's this beautiful house on a waterfall in the middle of really nothing in the woods. And even though I've experienced that before, I've never experienced with Mindy, and to see her experience it for the first time, I think I was more excited about that than I was the first time I got to experience it. So it's almost like sharing things. And when I look at it that way, I just can't wait to take her somewhere, even if I've been there before, to get to see how she reacts to it.
Exactly. It's a nice balance. How do you explain the age gap to an old school type parent? Well, I would say my parents, I don't know if they're really technically old school, but just to explain it to a parent in general, they don't have to be old school. It's a big deal to explain it anyways. How do you do it? I told, you know, my mom first. I didn't tell everybody. I told one parent at a time because it was such a big deal for me to explain that. And how to do it, just be honest, you know, and just also understand that your family is probably going to be concerned, and they do have a right to be concerned, you know. As I have previously stated, not all age gap relationships are pure, meaning behind that, I've said that before and confused people, meaning there may be underlying reasons why somebody is seeking an age gap relationship. And I just have to put that out there because I don't want to be out here promoting, yes, have an age gap relationship, do it, do it, do it. Because it's not safe for everybody. There's things that could happen, and there's, like I said, underlying reasons. For Larry and I, we're very lucky. We're just two human beings that fell in love, and we have a very great relationship. So just understand that it's also going to take time for your parents to probably come around, and they might be angry and they might not be happy about it. But as long as you're happy, that's what's important.
And safe.
Yes, and safe. Safe is very, very important. If you feel deep down that a relationship is not right, or this person has some kind of reason as to why they're seeking you out, no, just say no. You know what I mean? Just be careful. That doesn't even have to be age gap. That is relationships in general. If you have a gut feeling that something is not right, get out of that relationship immediately. Just if something happens one time that's bad or abusive, we're going off tangent here, and you think that person's not going to do it again, 100% they will do it again. Larry had a career out of dealing with things like that.
And usually the second time is worse than the first time, and third time is worse than the second time, and it just doesn't add up to a happy existence.
Right. But going back to the parents, it's going to take time most likely, and just be prepared for that. But it will all be okay. Everything is hard and difficult in the beginning, but it will all be okay. Hopefully. Biggest disagreements.
What side of the highway was the car on fire?
That is an inside joke between Larry and I think it is probably the biggest argument that we have gotten into. It's not the biggest fight we've been into, but Larry and I were arguing about which side of the highway this fire was on, and I was most certain I was right. I was so wrong. I literally was like, no, we need to drive 20 miles out of our way, or 20 minutes out of our way, to go see where this is. It was ridiculous that I even had to prove that I was right when I was so wrong, but at least I apologized. I admitted that I was wrong, and we have not had something like that happen since. That was several years ago, back when we lived in Ohio.
That was the first time since the that we've used it many times since. That was the phrase, "One of us is
Oh
really
my gosh.
stupid."
And I was sure it was going to be you, and it was me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so wrong. No, but in general, what do we argue about most that's relationship-wise? Larry and I are very lucky. Like, we coexist so well, which is great because Larry is retired and I work from home full time. So we're together like 98% of the time. What do we argue about most? I can't really think of arguments that we have.
No. If I ask you to do something, even though if you may not want to do it, you always do it for me. And if you ask me to do something, I just say yes, dear.
Yeah, we're pretty good in that way. So honestly, I mean, I would honestly say it's down to like tiny little things like nitpicking, cleaning up after something, or putting away something, or, you know, I've asked you a month to clean up this and it's still not. And like little typical husband and wife, significant other, spouse, like little things. So we're very fortunate in that way. How old are you both? I've answered this many times. I figured we'd answered it because I know if somebody stumbles across this video, that's going to be the main question is, but how old are they?
I am 60.
And I will be turning 30 October 8th. So currently 29.
Yeah, but she'll be 29 for like the next 26 years, so.
That's darn right I will. I don't know. I'm kind of embracing the 30s. I feel it. At first I was scared about it, but I'm embracing it. Do you ever wish you dated a younger guy so you could have kids faster? So I have dated younger guys. I've had very long-term relationships with younger guys, and no, I would never want to date a younger guy just to have a child faster, because the relationships that I did have with younger guys were very toxic, very unhealthy, and not right for me. So no, the answer would be no to that question.
It would be great if we could do it the conventional way. We save a lot of money.
Save a lot of money and a lot of like painful poking. I mean,
yeah.
You just get used to being stabbed with needles. I hate needles, and every night.
Yeah, her poor arms too, with all the IVs and blood draws and stuff.
They've never been right since. Every time I get a blood draw on both arms now, I soak up a whole cotton ball filled with blood. Like, it fills it. It's not just like a little pin poke. Normally, it bleeds a lot. It's not a good time. But
when she's chugging her water, I have to expect to see water kind of flowing out of her arms. But
I can literally see all the pinholes, the poke holes. But it'll all be worth it, and we're very excited for the outcome. Mm-hmm. What was the hardest part when you first got together? What about for you? You go ahead and answer first.
I'm going to have to think about that one for...
Okay, you think about it. I'll answer. There's two things that really stand out to me. Number one, and this is just blunt and honest, we loved each other. We had feelings for each other. But it was that, are we doing something wrong by being together because of an age gap? So it was kind of like wrapping our head around that, like, what are the repercussions down the road of being together because of an age gap, or not because of, but with an age gap. And I think just being open and honest and telling family, I think that was really one of the two hardest things to deal with in the very beginning, was being open and honest and telling people, and also honestly being open and honest with yourself and your own feelings of what's actually happening, and not trying to suppress it because it's not the norm or it's not what society would want. I think that was the two hardest things for me.
Yeah, neither one of us went into a relationship with a long-term goal of, oh, I'm going to make this work, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It just happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it did for me.
Same.
And one day it was like, wow, I think we've progressed pretty far.
Sometimes I just think that things are meant to be for a reason. People's paths are meant to cross for a reason. And I can't speak for both of us. I was going to say we, but I couldn't be happier. And I'm very happy with the way things rolled out. Yay! Do you have any struggles in the relationship due to the age gap? Having a baby.
But that's, the age gap isn't the problem with the baby. It was
procedures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything due to specifically the age gap that we have an issue with?
You did originally with some of the comments and things that people were making.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone over that.
Yeah.
And
you just can't let the outside opinions of others, especially others that don't know you personally, you know, don't let that feed at you. You just can't. It's hard. Uh-oh, my phone just fell off. But yeah, no.
Where'd she go? There she is.
I lost my spot.
Now you did it.
What's the biggest misconception you received about being in an age gap relationship? I've got 3 that come right to mind.
Go ahead.
You never have sex. Larry can't do it because he's older. False. Big misconception.
Yeah, have you seen her?
2, that Larry's obviously a creeper pedophile. That's been the main word. Extreme misconception. And 3, that I'm obviously in it for the money and 100% a gold digger. 3 very big misconceptions with our age gap relationship. But those are things that I used to read and I was like, I don't understand, like, how judgmental. And now I'm like, it's okay. Like, I've heard it 1,000 times. I know it's not true. Larry knows those things aren't true. And as long as you guys are happy in your relationship and you know these things are not true, don't even worry about it. Don't pay the negative any mind.
And you have daddy issues.
Oh, that's another good one. Yes, obviously I have daddy issues. Yeah, no, I don't. It's, you know, specific to our relationship. I don't. I'm very close with my dad. I love my dad. My family and I are all very tight, and Larry. So those are the big 4, I would say. That was a good one.
Thanks.
Do you worry about being alone so young later down the road? Love your channel, by the way. Thank you. No, I try not to think about things like that. Could it happen? Absolutely. But I've also lost, you know, a best friend at 25 in a car accident, you know? So my mom, for example, was in a relationship or married a man that was 13 years younger than her. And unfortunately, he passed away in a car accident. So you would think naturally that my mom would have passed first. That's not how life works. You can't ever predict something like that. If things go the natural way, unfortunately, yes. And when the time comes, please do excuse my phone. If that happens, yeah, I'm going to be devastated. It's going to be terrible. Is my fertility appointment reminder that is tomorrow.
All right, well, you're reinstated then.
But yeah, no, I'm one of those that tries to live in the present moment. I try not to consume with what ifs in the future. If you consume with what ifs in the future, it will eat you alive. I used to do that in my early 20s. I was always worried about what if, where am I going to be in, you know, 5 years? Am I going to have a career? What am I going to do if, even now, if I start to think, like, what am I going to do if YouTube falls off the face of the planet? You know what I mean? Like, there's so many what ifs in life, but I think it's just take it day by day. Of course, there's nice to have, like, future goals and stuff. Absolutely. I'm not saying don't do that. But no, I don't worry about it.
If we would have played What If 6 years ago, I would never, ever have expected.
Right.
The now, 6 years ago.
Yeah. We just cherish the moments that we have together. And
I plan on living at least to the age of 106, just so I can be a royal pain in the, for anybody that I can be a royal pain in the. And I got it great because she used to work in a nursing home, so she's used to taking care of old people.
Darn right. I'll be there to take care of you, babe. Oh my gosh, that's funny. One thing you hate most about an age gap relationship. I can't really think of anything that I hate most about age gap.
I think the biggest thing is the preconceived ideas that people have. And fortunately, probably because of you, a lot of people have commented, and thank you for the comments, and I'm glad that you watched and changed your mind. But a lot of people said, man, I had just set my mind on this is the way you two were, and I started watching your videos. I don't even know why. And the more I watched, the more I liked. And I was so wrong, and I apologize. You don't have to apologize. But it's nice that you did. But I think that's the biggest thing, where that rush to jump to an idea or a conclusion in their minds.
Or an assumption.
But it takes a big person to admit that, hey, I started out thinking this, and once I got to know you, made a big right turn and or left turn or whatever turn, I changed my mind, and I'm really glad that you guys are putting content out.
Yeah.
So for that, thank you.
Yeah. What would you have done if your family didn't accept Larry? Love you guys. It's so hard to say because it didn't happen to me. I'm a very stubborn person. I've always done what I want to do, and if somebody tells me, no, you can't go left, I'm going left. The more, which is weird, like the more you tell me no, the more I'm doing yes. And that's, unless it's called legal. Like, I respect my elders, I respect police authority, I respect authority. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, if they tell me not to do something, I'm not doing it. Not in that kind of way, but in my life choices and what I want and what I think is right, I'm going to follow my morals and what I love to do and who I love. I'm going to follow that. And I love my parents. I value their opinion. I respect them 100%, and my brother and everybody. But I think I would have continued on, period. And it was either like, you can accept that I love this man and we're meant to be together, or you can't. I mean, for example, my brother did not accept it for a good year. And I didn't break things off with Larry because my brother didn't accept it for a year. You know what I mean? So I would have still gone for it and followed my heart. But I think deep down I would know that my parents would come around eventually. I think that it would be a harder and different scenario if you knew that your family was going to cut ties with you and never speak to you again. That's a totally different, that sucks in my opinion.
Yeah, we've actually heard stories of people that are in an age gap that their families have reacted that way, and it's kind of tragic. It
is, because that person could have made that person happy, and it's not right to ever make somebody choose between people. I don't like that. I mean, there's scenarios where if something is toxic and bad for you, then stay away. But if everybody is happy and truly in love with each other, it is never okay, in my opinion, to say you need to choose between your family and the person you love, or that's it. And usually the person who is making you choose between people that you love it's not the best. That's not a good situation. It's stressing me out because it's so hard, because Larry and I are so lucky.
Yeah,
to have the support.
And we've been asked that before, but we didn't have to experience it.
No.
And thank God.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you could answer that other than how we answer it, because we did not have to experience it. But I know there's a lot out there that have.
Yeah. Well, we love you guys, and I'm sorry if that has happened to you. It's very unfortunate. Do you have interests in common? Yes.
Yes.
So I know there's an opinion out there that Larry and I have absolutely nothing in common, but that's not true. So Larry and I both played sports. He was a baseball player. I was a softball player. Both of us were catchers for our career in sports. So we love sports. Unpopular opinion to some, I think is how you say it, is that I'm not interested in anything that Larry talks about, and I obviously look so bored. Not true. Larry loves cars. I love cars. Larry loves cars from a completely different generation, and he educates me on those cars. When we drive to the doctor's appointment, if we see a car, I'm like, oh my God, look at that car. That looks crazy, like expensive, for example. And then Larry's like looking it up and seeing all the details about the cars. We have long, in-depth conversations about vehicles. What was the name of that vehicle that we saw on the highway on the way to the fertility appointment?
I don't remember. It had a V and an X and something I've never ever seen before. Didn't know what it was, and got the old dumb phone, because that's what it is when I'm using it. And it turns out it started out life as a Jeep.
A Jeep, and turns
but it
into
goes to a company in California, and they armor plate it and put in thick windows, and they put their own design on it, which looks space age. And
it's crazy.
I think the cost of it is like, I don't know, $300,000 or something.
Yeah.
But it's going down the highway next to us, going to our doctor's appointment over by the Tampa airport.
Yeah. We also love to travel. We like exploring. We like hiking. We like kayaking, outdoor activities. The only thing I would say that Larry and I do not have in common that comes straight to mind is food. That's the only thing we highly have nothing in common. Like, because I could travel the world and eat. Larry, no. So that's it.
You should travel with Gordon Ramsay.
I mean, I would, but I would miss you.
I could get a water.
Larry will get a water. He always makes that joke. He's like, there's no way I could do that job. Like sit there, like have somebody make me a plate of food and then sit there and try all the different ones. He's like, I wouldn't be able to eat it. I said, oh, I would for sure. I would love to taste all these different dishes. But where I would vary and what Gordon Ramsay would not approve of is the fact that I'm not educated enough to like criticize or critique somebody's plate of flavors. But yeah, the only thing we don't have in common, food.
Food.
Yep. Do people ever react negatively when they find out Larry is your husband? If they do, they keep it internal. And if they do, it's more of like a shock. It's like, oh, okay.
In person, not so much, but the keyboard pirates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Keyboard pirates, yeah.
But in person, no. We might get a funny look or... and we've told you about this before.
Yeah.
The people that think that I'm dad. In a few years that'll be grandpa, but right now it's still dad.
Well, there's a lot of people that asked about that, and I wasn't going to answer that, but since you brought it up, we might as well. Is how do you react when people assume or say like father and daughter? Usually, like if it's somebody we don't know, like we're just going out to dinner, we just kind of laugh it off and ignore it. I mean, it doesn't need an explanation. You never have to explain. There's no point. But if it's somebody we know, then absolutely we're gonna correct that and say, no, he's actually my husband. So also there was another question is, do you guys ever lie about your ages to people to like minimize the concern or hate or whatever you want to call it? No, we've never ever lied about our ages. I don't think it's necessary.
I'm too old for that at this point. We've been together for way longer than what a lot of people say. Oh, they won't be together. They're not going to get married. They're not going to. Well, we did. So
in our opinion too, it's like you either accept us for who we are or you don't. You form your opinion. If it's not for you, that's fine. So that's kind of how we look at it. But there's no sense in lying about it. We love each other and that's what counts. Does Larry fall asleep before you? My boyfriend does. We are 11 years apart. You want to answer that, babe?
No.
You want me to answer it?
No, my answer was no.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Larry's the night owl. I'm the cute little old grandma. I go to bed at 9 p.m. every night. If I don't go to bed early, it's not good. I was just saying I can't wait for like darker season to arrive where the sun goes down early because, but also the problem with that is if the sun sets at 5, I'm ready for bed at 7. The only reason Larry comes to bed when I go to bed is because I'm going to bed, but he'll stay up until 11 or midnight and I'm zonked. I'm out. So no, it's all me. I'm also in an age gap relationship. Do you ever feel like Larry is fathering you, that is in quotes, more than being a partner? Never. I have never received that kind of feeling. I don't know if you have. I don't know how I would feel about that. If Larry was treating me like a daughter or more so fathering me and telling me like what I can and cannot do and kind of that sort of, no, I've never ever had that experience with Larry.
Clean your plate or go to your room.
Yeah, that would make me kind of cringe a little bit. So I don't know if you're going through that, but I would kind of like think about that, think about that. Are you okay with that? If your significant other is treating you like a child or a daughter, I would think about that. Make sure that you're okay and that, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, not my place to do that.
No. Was Larry worried about dating someone younger at first? If so, how did he overcome that?
I was not. We didn't really get to date. No.
Well, I think they meant date as in like just not like go out on a date, but like you guys are together. Like, were you ever worried about being together with me because of the age?
No.
No,
I think if it was reversed, then I might be, but being older and no.
Okay. Very good. Have you ever been confronted out in public about your age gap relationship? No. But then again, Larry and I aren't like all over each other in public, for somebody to walk up to us and be like, excuse me, are you kissing your daughter? Like, that's not okay. Like, we've never had something like that happen. If we're like holding hands, when we were with Barcroft though, and we walked out and we're filming and stuff like that, we attracted stares, but that could also be a cameraman. And sometimes if we are like holding hands or hugging, I used to be hyper aware of what people would think and are they looking at us and are they judging us? And whatever. I don't anymore. In the beginning, I definitely did. But no, nobody's ever just come up to us, and I think, again, it's more so keyboard warriors, like people that don't really know us that just come in and do what they want to do. But no, we've never had a real life incident.
Universal, and we've seen some, what do they call them, PDAs?
Yeah, I've never been PDA though.
It's like that's you know, there's, go get a room, or you know.
Yeah, we saw that at Halloween Horror Nights. I mean, alcohol was flowing, but I mean, there were kids that were like, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was intense. It wasn't just like a little kiss or a little quick makeout session. It was like tongue down the throat, like they are ready to, and I'm like, you guys, yeah, there's a bunch of people around, but to each their own. Some people are really into that. Larry and I, and just me in general, I've never been in PDA. As I said before, I went to a school where you were not allowed to hold hands or touch or hug. Like that was a no-no. I was raised that way in schools, so it's just something that I kind of carried on. How do you argue as an age gap couple? This is a really popular question. Again, Larry and I don't really fight that often. The only thing that I can say is this always varies between people. You know what I'm saying? But when I had arguments with boyfriends in the past that were my age or like 2 or 3 years older than me, it was brutal. It was violent. It was, and I don't use those terms lightly, it was smashing things. It was pushing, shoving. It was violent fighting. And with Larry and I, as an age gap couple arguing, Larry's very calm. Like if we do argue about something, we'll talk about it or we'll stay separated. We separate from each other. He'll go out and do something in the garage and I'll stay on the couch, and then we'll just talk about it later. And I'll be like, look, this is why I said what I said. I didn't like that you did this, this, this. And he'll be like, I understand that, but I don't like the way that you worded it. And this is why I got upset, and this, 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 and this. And we talk about it. Sometimes we still don't agree because we're two different people, but we move on, we dismiss. But again, like with the previous relationships, I can't blame that on, it was because it was guys with my age. And I can't blame the way we handle arguments because we're in an age gap relationship. It depends on the people, it depends on the personalities in the relationship. To me, it doesn't really have much to do with age.
Yeah, there's some people that will just, and the fight's on over dopey stuff. The other day I commented that we were talking to a friend, and I said, yeah, we got the Universal, and we wanted to make the most of it because we weren't even expecting to be there, and we went on Velocicoaster first. And she went, no, we didn't. We did Hagrid's. And at that point in time, I would have bet money that, no, we went on Velocicoaster. And Mindy said, no, we talked about it, but we had to walk past Hagrid's to get to Velocicoaster, and Hagrid's was like a 20-minute wait, and we said, we're here, let's ride it. And I was, okay, yeah. Ding, the light goes on, and it's like, oh, she's 100% right.
Yeah.
Some people would have a 2-day argument over that, and life would be miserable, and it was, no, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Of course, there's bigger situations than little things like that. But again, Larry and I have been pretty okay at the way that we handle, like, behind the scenes that we would never, ever talk about. There's some things that are just never meant for everybody in the world and the public. I know that's a big misconception, is that we share everything. We don't. Like, there's behind the scenes things that happen, and we talk about and discuss things that are going on, and we just handle that. I don't know how to explain it. Larry and I are very fortunate to be able to have a good communication when it comes to disagreeing on things. I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Guys, that's it for this video. It might be a little bit of a longer one. Again, thank you so much for asking us questions. I hope you found this video to be insightful.
Welcome to everybody that's watching this and hearing this for the first time. And again, apologies for those that have seen a couple,
similar
2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
well, the beginning half is new.
That's new.
That's very exciting.
Yay.
But yeah, we're very excited. As this video goes live at 9 a.m., I won't have the transfer yet, but I will be having the transfer in the afternoon. And welcome to being in the know in real time. And we look forward to going through the journey with you, whether it's good or bad outcome. We'll deal with that together as we have with the last 3 failed IUIs. But we're hoping for the best. We're praying. We're staying positive. and we're enjoying all the stabs in the booty, the shots that will hopefully keep baby secure.
And enjoying the learning experience. Oh my gosh, I never.
You know, I feel like you don't really understand until you're actually going through it, or you know somebody who's going through it. And even if you're not going through it, but you know somebody who's going through it, it's still kind of like a different reality.
Oh yeah, all the terminology and the science behind it, and
or just the feelings.
It turns into a blasphemous. Is that what they call them?
Blastocyst.
Blastocyst. That's the thing Harry Potter was running away from in the cave with the Gryffindor sword. No, that's not it.
Not only just the science, but like honestly, the physical and emotional dealings that come along with it. It's so tiring. I ran out of memory card space. I don't know where I was at in saying that. I don't even know if it recorded, but we are going to end this video here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being sweet and supportive and for leaving all your lovely comments, Larry, and I love reading your comments, so thank you. And we will talk to you guys again very soon. I'm hoping the next video that you see on Saturday is going to be that of the embryo transfer day. So we will see, and we'll see you guys again very soon.
Fingers crossed.
Bye.
Bye.